This is the outrageous EF1 ARF kit by the World Models. They also have a solid red airplane called the Scarlet Screamer. These are purpose designed for EF1 racing, NMPRA EF1 racing, and they were just introduced into the United States in early November. And I have the kit out of the packaging in front of me, and I've already had this one together, so some of the holes have already been cut, some haven't. I had just stuck it together. So I'm going to show you the kit components and let you see a few details about the airplane. I'm going to be doing a complete build series on this airplane and the Scarlet Screamer. And one of the nice things about solid color airplanes, it's solid color except for the bottom of the wing, which is white on both models, and the bottom of the stabilizer is white. One of the nice things about solid color models is that you can easily add your own trim covering. The control surfaces have CA hinges, but they're not glued in. So you can take the control surfaces off while you're adding your trim covering. It's a lot easier than trying to trim an airplane that has glued in control surfaces. The fuselage is built of balsa and plywood. It has balsa sides, and it has a plywood runner down the middle, stringer I guess I should say, and it has a nice compartment for the battery, and the ESC can be mounted in this area because the cowl slides on and is held by 4 screws. The fin and rudder are detachable on this airplane. There's a notch, and the front of the rudder assembly goes into that notch, and there are screw holes on the bottom for 2 screws that hold the stabilizer in place, and it allows you to remove the stabilizer if you need to repair it, or if you just want to take it off to ship the airplane. It should be easy to ship the airplane since you won't have the big tail feathers sticking out. And with these planes having 375 square inches of wing area, the stabilizers are pretty sizable on them. This one has a joiner between the 2 halves, so you'll need to glue that in. It may actually already be glued, I'm not sure yet. And you can see I have 2 screw holes for where the screws come through the bottom of the fuselage into the rudder assembly. The wing has dual aileron servos. They fit onto a servo tray hatch. They're sized for servos like the high-tech 85 or 85 MG, but other brands of servos will fit. But it's a 2-screw servo because it's the wing's fairly thin at that point. The holes for the control horns are actually already pre-drilled, so locating the control horns is not an issue. And the control horns are already pre-drilled on the elevators as well, but they just have a pinhole where they go. Looks like there's a place for the rudder control horn. I'll have to check and see. The control horns are actually controlled by push rods that go through tubes that exit under the stabilizer, and one of the servo mounting areas has a doubler plate so that it offsets the control horn from one servo to the other a little bit, and it makes the angles work out properly. In the fuselage there is a tube for a carbon fiber spar and the wings bolt on using 2 screws on each wing that just come through there, and they have Allen heads on them, so you can run them in by hand and then tighten them with an Allen wrench. The cockpit hatch slides up under the cowl. It has a spring-loaded pin on it that holds the hatch in place. So, as you see, I almost have this thing snapped together, but I'm going to, one other thing is, it has a landing gear that mounts on the bottom, and then there are slots in the cowl to slide over the landing gear. The landing gear also has wheel pants with the regulation size wheels, and the wheel pants just go on the landing gear and should make it look real nice. The wheels come with the airplane, the axles and all the control horns and push rods come with the airplane. It comes with a pilot, and the pilot can be inserted into the canopy like so. If you want to put a pilot in, if you want to customize his helmet color or his face, you can. So that's nice that it's not in place already, because it gives you a chance to customize. One of the big things with the solid color airplanes is that some of the EF1 kits that are out there come in one design, and you wind up with a lot of planes that look the same at races. Racers like to customize airplanes, and so do sport flyers. This airplane should be a good sport flyer. I'm going to assemble it now, or I'm going to snap it together and let you see what the snap together airplane looks like. I'm not going to bore you with the details of the snapping together, and I'll have it together in a minute and I'll show you what it looks like. Oh, one last thing. The servos in the fuselage are set up for mini size servos like Hi-Tech 225s, I think Spectrum 5040s, JR Sport MN48s will work. And while I have it apart, slip in a battery. The battery can go all the way to the front if you need to for balance. But you have a several inch range where the battery can be adjusted for adjusting your CG. That's a nice feature. The holes in the firewall are set up for a 41 or 42 millimeter motor mount. There are no spacers included, but it's easy to make some plywood spacers. and I'm sure somebody will have spacers available for various size engines, or motors I should say. And the motor mount for an OS25 motor does not fit these mounting holes, but Brodak sells a universal motor mount that fits on any of the engines or motors that have the same back mounting pattern, which is almost all the 25 class motors, and it should be relatively easy to get the mount installed. It does come with a plastic spinner. It does not have a collet back plate on it, so you can use it with a standard prop drive that comes with most of the motors. You may want to upgrade to a collet spinner. A lot of people like those, but it does come with a matching spinner. And it comes with, as I said, all the control horns and clevises and push rods and Velcro, and it comes with a couple pieces of plywood so that you can put micro servos in the fuselage if you want to. So that's about it for the kit. One thing it does have is it has a tube in the center of the fuselage that has a plywood reinforcing plate, so it should make the wing tube be plenty stable. So now I'm going to stick it together and I'll show you the completed airplane. Here's the airframe with the rudder and fin and stabilizer bolted on, and I don't have the cowl on yet, so I can show you the inside of the radio compartment. Nice big area for your receiver, and the cowl fits right over the landing gear, and the hatch has a lip and slips under the cowl, and it has a latch on the back. Slide the latch back into place, and there's the airframe stuck together. It's a pretty nice looking airplane. Here's the side view. And an angled view. So this airplane should look pretty good going around the pylons or just sport flying.